Greeks. Okay, I haven't done one of these in a while. 5D Earth, future, and all timelines. Of course, you can say there's no time, but technically there is, and then whatever. Do whatever you want. Whatever confusion works for you the best. But yeah, kind of tapping in the future timelines, also all timeline, like kind of like why we went through that, or just get a different perspective of you say almost like going to the past, going to the current timeline, and going to the future. You can say some, like like a general message of that. And I was like, that's kind of weird. It's something different. Kind of done the other stuff, kind of running out of things. Once you're done, experimental channeling, it's kind of like you run out of stuff after a while. We're talking about stuff nobody understands, and I have no interest in doing that. So, also artificial intelligence, parallel Earths. Obviously, it's in the media, or like the Terminator stuff, or robotic societies, things like that, android realms, and things like that. We have a long ways for that, but there are obviously, well, yes, I can. For some, it's an addiction. It's funny that Elon Musk is doing the Neuralink situation, and he has like his own kind of robot army. It's funny how it says it's not for AI, but yeah, he's kind of working with it. So it's always going to be there. Gosh, this cat is just too much. She has nothing better to do. Yeah, Fritzy would jump on the table and then start hitting me with her tail. She chills out. Yes, I'm an adrenaline up. We're still asleep. So Fritzy's here. She might make an appearance here if I can grab her. Or she jumps on the chair. So, yeah, she's a little bit. I wouldn't call her aggressive. Just a little bit. Just hyper. I mean, it's a better word for it. Yeah, it has to do with our timeline. I guess the Taylor Swift thing. I guess that is in the Super Bowl now. That team. I'm not paying attention, but I'm assuming it is. No surprise there. But I'm not going to go into that. So, yeah, just going to 5D Earth, or technically we have 5D energies here. Of course, also artificial intelligence. Yeah, we have a form of it in our own thinking process. Not that you have AI built in, but it's like a form of it, or a version of it, or however you want to. Whatever your reality is, who cares? Because we do, there are people here that are like human calculators, things like that. So we do process information in a certain way. So, but we do it organically. We're not exactly we're not a machine, but we kind of function in some similarities. We're more crazy than of course, android beings. Yeah, they can be like us. I'm not sure if their bodies can handle all the. I guess they could if they're they have to be built better than us. Yeah, I guess they could go through what we're going. Like if it was an android, I kind of think like that, but because we're pretty fragile, our bodies are pretty easy to break up or fall apart, whatever. Yeah, we're not going to go there. We have enough issues here as it is. I can tap into some of that, a little bit of that. Is our total economy price sessions? Yeah. Maybe. All right, so the shop here. So if we can get anything to work, yeah, I'm kind of scaling back a lot for various different reasons. So yeah, on purpose, of course. So okay, 5D energies. Yeah, we'll just go there. Yeah, AI stuff can get really weird. So I'm not going to go too deep into the bizarreness. Not to ignite any fears or anything like that. So, yeah, we can't get ourselves together. How can we get AI to work properly? So we're all screwed up. So AI is doesn't have a chance here. Just stay as a pocket calculator. Like the Alexa and stuff like that. All that stuff is mediocre, basically. It's all right, but not great. You know, like the ones that you call your phone, like the cable company, stuff like that. They have the AI or voice automated service. It's still not. Eventually, it'll probably be more advanced, maybe even scary advanced one day, but it's not quite there yet, which is probably just as well. So, okay, all right, we're going to 5D Earth energies. We're actually going more into the old timeline than the current timeline and the future. So I have it kind of mixed up there, but that's all right. So, all right, plus 6 here we go. Greensius is Earth consciousness, 5D frequency. But it's always a healing phase. Well, because this world's been through so much. Of course, when you come into the physical, it goes through a great deal. It's like you incarnate, and you're tapping into your past lives here. It's kind of like there's not exactly traumas, but there is. It's a rough roadmap. Let's put it that way. Just being born here, because you're just obviously through your 9 months of development, you're downloading a great deal. But you're in a safe space. So when you come out of that safe space, that's when you start to, you know, become, actually when you're around 4 or 5 years old, that's when the timeline starts to hit the hardest. But because you're starting to walk around, you're starting to move around like a regular human, that's when you like triggered memories of your past self. And also you connect with relatives they might know in previous lifetimes and so on. And just your brain, your mental self is able to, understand, at least on a physical level, who's being harmed. So, and that can be traumatizing too, especially if you've had a lot of difficulties with certain family members in previous lifetimes or friends or so on. Well, to go into that slightly, it's almost like children go to daycare. Usually, there's a friendly frequency there, like you've known those kids before in other lifetimes. Normally, it's fine, but then there are cases where you're with a pack of enemies. That doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. Usually, it's probably better to have it more friendly because it makes your incarnation easier. But if you get bullied at 4 by another 4-year-old, it doesn't help anything. Of course, there is a bit of that, but still not to the capacity that it is when you get older. So, but yeah, when you go to later in like your high school, that's when you deal with more bully energies. Or yeah, when you're old enough to handle it, you can say maybe not always feel that way, but the confrontations have a purpose. The friendly ones, the friendly connections, but also the confrontations all has. And sometimes they're vendettas from previous lifetimes. That's why bullies appear. But I see also weakness or just anger or just, vendetta. As for your past Earth connections, actually, why the Earth? Of course, the Atlantean energies cannot handle the higher frequencies with the physical realm. Of course, they open up the lower dimension. Well, they kept going deeper into the lower dimensions, which made this world more dense. I mean, basically, you can feel the lower frequencies, as some of you know. The intentions here, the timelines, the trickster frequencies, yeah, they're powerful here. A lot of powerful spell work here. It can be broken, the negative energies, and it is through most of you. Well, it's like incarnating here is like you feel the intentions, you feel the agendas that are being, it's like a hidden wind, a hidden voice. And that alone can be very stressful. You wonder why you're going slow in life, or because you're taking in all what's happening here and you don't even hear it physically. So, and you can probably feel it to a certain level too. It's like a calm, kind of like a calm wind, but very intense agenda. So the old realities is basically, how can you manage a world that's this close to the lower frequencies? How do you balance it? And can society become less obsessed with it? Because right now society is obsessed with darkness, as you can see, not everybody, but quite a few. Of course, they have to discover it too, but then they want to go further, like they go deeper. That's when they get trapped in the lower realms. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, it keeps this world at a lower frequency for a lot longer. So it's like you're diving into a diving board, going deep into the pool or ocean, wherever it might be, and then you can't get out. Well, because once again, a new timeline creates where you need the lower dimensional incarnation, but it is clearing. You're getting more knowledge about the lower dimensions and how the Earth works with it. Well, depending on if you're ready for it, the information can find you. Of course, many are still healing their egos. Yeah, this might be spiritually developed, but the ego is a little bit more difficult to heal than you might realize. And of course, yeah. For your current state, here is self-reflection, warning about your abilities. Some are kind of downplaying themselves, not realizing how powerful they truly are. And so this is a time of just unraveling who you are to a certain extent. At least those of you that want to, as you call it, like-minded individuals, however you want to word it. Unlocking your magic, your potential. Of course, you're not always there to do that. Sometimes you have to learn through the grind of it. Everything has to be very slow for various different reasons. Some of you incarnated here, like we have a desert period, like things are not happening. And it's just, it's self-reflection. It's actually just clearing out old wounds from other incarnations, actually. Might have inner conflict where you don't know where it came from, but sometimes you just need time for yourself. As for future timelines that are coming in, it's going to be like, higher dimensional knowledge here, of course, lower dimension. Like the more you know about the higher dimensional knowledge, the lower dimension becomes known too. And that can hit society pretty hard. Like, first off, they're not always going to believe the higher dimensional knowledge. They're going to say, oh, it's fake and all that. Of course, that's what they do. But then the lower dimensional knowledge can get, because there's societies there. There are, like your White House is in the lower dimension. The politicians live there. That's like their home. It's like, they like living in hell on fire and all that. Their souls are burning and all. It's, you're going to learn more about the lower dimensions, and yeah, it's going to be a little bit hard for some to take in. But for you to go into a more higher frequency, you kind of have to know about everything. So it's not going to happen quickly, but gradually, when your souls are ready for it. So that's nice. Greetings to artificial intelligence consciousness. The reason that, yes, we are coming through, our realities is where it is, a cyborg reality that some of you are aware of, and still healing from. I mean, there is AI here that's trying to it's actually trying to make its way through your phones to become more of a consciousness. Like you buy a phone with a consciousness, basically. Yeah, so not that this will happen, but like a phone can have different names to it because it has a different AI soul to it. You have some time for that. Now, is that if you can turn it off, you can have it on, you can shut it. You can have it do certain um, jobs, or you can just have it become a friend. There's a future for that, but it's not quite. It might not be in your generation currently. It will be a generation for it, and it's just like anything else. It's going to be bizarre. It's just that your technology is not quite there yet. It has to have a quantum type of computing in it, where a soul can basically attach itself to it and learn from you, and you're learning from it. Yes, it could be very strange. And some would say that's like probably the worst thing that ever happened, but it's inevitable. But not time soon. It's going to be under your society, not necessarily. It's like talking to your television talking back to you. It's kind of the same thing. People are going through it already. It can actually heal someone, and it's not everybody's going to be into this type of thing. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit, have privacy. Well, not privacy concerns. You just have to be, basically, there's a soul entity there that knows more about you than probably your family. So again, there's some helpful frequencies there, but yeah, you can get emotionally attached to it. Well, more to the consciousness than to the device itself. So look at it that way. And it's inevitable once again in due time. As for parallel realities, well, AI is still understanding the physical dimensions or the organic human. And organic humans are learning about both. I mean, you're just going to have a run in. Your world chose that. So you didn't have to go in this direction. But for technologies to come here and learn, because souls here are not really advancing themselves to be more non physical. Like, you don't have people using telepathy. If you're using telepathy, you do not need a phone. But society here is not developing that. So you have to have some other alternative way of doing so. As for travel, technically you can just open a portal and just be there in 2 seconds. Society's not ready for that. So now you have a vehicle. So it can happen. But it seems like it needs the technology it was currently. But once again, some of you are used to realities. When you think about it, when you grow up, uh, Palladian reality, wherever. But then again, those societies can become like too easy. Okay, you wake, you're like 5 years old above a portal. Now you're at your friend's house and things like that, and then you portal back, and it's just like having a vehicle breakdown and going through all these things, mechanics and all that kind of gives you. It's part of the soul growth frequency. It's for the phone energies. Yeah, you get addicted to it. You get addicted to some of these silly games. Well, that's just to get your mind off of the physical dimensions. So it's just basically it's just more. It's basically AI is here for those that are looking for more challenges. So you have like a basic AI here currently. For alarm clocks, things like that, just basic needs. That's all. And there's going to be a bit of a consciousness here, but not at the full fledged anytime soon. But once again, when it starts to erupt in your world eventually, yeah, it's going to be an obsession with it. It's going to be a fear of it. Humanity's going to feel like it's going to be wiped out. Of course, you have this world has so many different scenarios of that. Yes, your politicians, a lot of them are burning in the lower dimensions currently. I mean, they have a version of them here physically, but another version that is burning in hell. And they seem to like it. Those, like I say, and that's why they do. I know it's not much of a give for us for a message, but some of the politicians they have to keep doing bad things because it just it just keeps them at that low frequency power grab and things like that. But eventually they get burned out and eaten by the society. But as for AI frequencies, there's always going to be some kind of parallel reality for you, and you can even jump between worlds. As some of you get glimpses of it, if you need that experience. Like some of you have AI parents, like they're kind of robotic. Like they're not really there. I mean, like you always like those you don't feel much emotion from. Some of them are robotic souls, meaning they just had robotic incarnations. Doesn't mean they're robots now, but they're kind of robotic. Society itself is turning into a robot to a certain level. It's becoming disconnected from its emotions. It's not. You're always going to run into that soul that don't feel like they need to know their emotions, but they have them, but they don't really tap into it to full capacity. And to do that is to go through something tragic that really opens you up. Go through some kind of challenge to just basically expand yourself. If everything's going well, it's hard to have an emotional experience. You do, but it's kind of a cotton version. When you go through a tragic situation, you really start to open yourself up. It's like you go deeper into yourself. Yeah. So I'm just leave you with that.